My name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is typically a channel where I like to talk about books as well as homeschool, mostly book related. So today's video is a little bit of books and a little bit of homeschooling. It is a bit of a unique video. It is technically my June TBR, so what I want to read in the month of June. It's unique because it's very specific. So let me give you a little bit of backstory and then I'll jump into the books. So as I've mentioned on this channel before, I'm a Christian and I also have my PhD in microbiology, so I love science. And so this past year I've been asking my kids for homeschooling what they would like to study. And my son said dinosaurs, and so I really wanted to put together a dinosaur unit for him. And so I wanted to do Big Bang Theory, dinosaurs, early humans, and they're 5 years old and 6 years old. And so they are definitely on the young elementary side of things. So I don't want to get into too much technicality. I just want to expose them to these topics. And so I went digging. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can find a curriculum that kind of covers this. Either there was curriculum that was Christian based, but then it had kind of a young earth perspective, or either there was secular curriculum that had no God. It really wasn't a good in between. And I tend to sit at an old earth perspective. I'm okay with learning more on the other side. I definitely don't hold that tightly, but that's where I tend to land. So I was talking with my husband and we decided that I want to do this. I think it's good. I think I need to know more. And he feels the same way. And so what we decided to do was compile a group of books and take kind of June, maybe July, to read through them and then decide how we are going to present some of these ideas to our kids in an age appropriate level, as well as really embracing the mystery of science and the mystery of God and kind of weaving that together for them within this topic of kind of a prehistory. That is what we are doing this month. So when I say specific, I mean specific. I did start a little ahead of time. I started with Sapiens last month, as well as 7 Days That Divide the World by John Lennox. And look for my wrap-up video to hear a little bit more about my thoughts on those two books, but it's a little bit more of the same in this stack. So let me jump into this stack. So the first thing I want to pick up is probably the most sciencey on my stack. So this is a Bill Bryson book, and he's kind of well known for deep diving into topics. And this one is called A Short History of Nearly Everything. So what drew me to this book was certain topics, like the Big Bang Theory. Obviously, I just said my PhD was in microbiology. It is very far from all the Big Bang Theory, physics, quantum physics, all that realm of things. And so I want to learn more. I just really don't know what's out there. And so this book covers a ton of different topics. The cosmos, how the world was formed, the rise of man, evolution, lots of good things. So I'm looking forward to getting into this, and I've heard really good things about it. I've heard good things about Bill Bryson's writing style, that it's really engaging and entertaining. And for me, when I approach anything kind of science related, and you'll see that also when I talk about Sapiens, what I'm looking for is more like evidence. It's more, I'm looking for more their results. So what was physically found? So if you're talking fossils, like which fossils, how many fossils, where were they? Like I want to know that, and I do want to know conclusions as well. Like I want to know what the author thought or the researcher thought, but I don't hold that as strongly as say I hold that they found this skeleton in this place. So that's more tangible to me, and that's what I'm looking for, especially when you're kind of wrestling with all these ideas and people have so many opinions. Sometimes it's just best to go to like the results. What did they find? And then try and have your own thoughts about it. That's all I have to say about that. So anyway, that's my science that I'm really looking forward to. The next one that's also kind of a big book. So if I only get to these two, I would be pretty happy with myself. But this one is called Science and Faith, Friends or Foes by C. John Collins. My brother-in-law actually recommended this to me originally because he took a class at seminary that used this book. So C. John Collins is a professor of Old Testament, and so he is definitely a Bible scholar. In preface, he said that he wrote this for people like me who are having questions about how to teach their children, where to start, because there's a lot of, not even controversy, but I think misunderstanding in these two realms. So his main premise is that a lot of Christians believe that science undermines God in some ways. And his idea is that it doesn't. It actually really complements. And so things like evolution, Big Bang, old earth, miracles shouldn't be shied away from, by Christians, they should be dug into to see the beauty of it. I like his style so far. I've read a little bit of this book, but it's a little bit textbooky, and so I need a highlighter and I need to spend a little bit more time on it, which is my plan for June. So I'm really looking forward to that one. Okay, so the next book in my stack is called Navigating Genesis, A Scientist's Journey Through Genesis 1 through 11 by Hugh Ross. And Hugh Ross is the creator of what's called Reasons to Believe. It's an organization whose tagline is Integrating Science and Faith. So they have a number of books. I have a couple others, but this is the one that I am most drawn to because I'm most drawn to understanding kind of the creation account. Genesis, day 1, day 3, all that kind of stuff. I really want to dive into, so I picked this one for my June reading. So Hugh Ross is a scientist. He has his PhD in physics and astronomy, I believe, and he did a ton of research. He only started publishing these types of books a little later in his career. He spent a lot of time doing science first. And so I really value his perspective. So I'm not exactly sure where he falls in that whole integrating faith and science spectrum, because there's a pretty broad spectrum, which you'll learn as you kind of deep dive into some of this stuff. And so I'm interested in hearing his argument. I believe this book talks a decent amount about the different creation days, and then it talks about the worldwide flood, or is it more global or worldwide? What does that mean? So some of those kind of terms I just want to dive into. I really don't know. I haven't read a lot about it, so I'm definitely in the accumulating information stage, and it's really fun that my husband is willing to do this with me so we can chat about it. So the next book I want to tackle this month is called Darwin's Black Box, The Biochemical Challenge to Evolution. So this was written by a biochemist. I guess you could probably guess that. His name is Michael J. Behe. So I've heard of him before, and I've heard of his kind of perspective. He is more well known in the intelligent design kind of area. Intelligent design being like nature exhibits a creator or exhibits evidence of a design, I guess is a good way to put it. In order to explain kind of his point, he needs a deep dive into biochemistry. So there's lots of different pictures, and I'm interested. This one definitely is a scientist who's also Christian, but is using science to dissuade evolution, I guess. So that's a different take than I think this, which is using more science to complement evolution. I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure. Again, that's why we're reading all of these books. So that's kind of the main ones. I have one more that I'm going to show you, but I want to say first is that if anybody has any good recommendations they've read on this topic, I know it's very specific and some of you might not be interested in the slightest, but this is something I just need to do right now in my life in June. So please, if you do have some recommendations, please comment below if you've read any of these books. If you have any thoughts, I know this can kind of be a controversial or hot topic, which I don't want on this video to elicit that. I just want to share where I'm at and what we're working through to educate ourselves, to understand it better, to explain it to our kids. The last book I want to show you that I'm reading this month is Maru of the Winter Caves by Turnbull. I'm using this as our read aloud for our prehistory unit, so I wanted to read it first. I've heard that it's a really good representation of Stone Age people and kind of hunter-gatherer, how they move around and things like that. I heard it was a little intense. I'm really excited to share this with my kids. I think it sounds really good and really cute, but I just want to do a little pre-reading. So it's very short. It'll probably take me a day to read. I'm not too concerned. I just want to make sure it's age appropriate since they're 6 and 5. So anyway, yeah, that's a lot, I know. And I hope some of you are interested in this. I hope it's not just some completely random month, but that is what I'm tackling. And I am pretty excited. It's been something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and this has just kind of given me the push to just finally do it. Thank you for tuning in to my TBR. Please consider liking, subscribing, all that stuff if you like what you see. So I will see you in the next video. Okay, take care.